Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are listening or viewing. This is the Iron Asylum Podcast. I have a very special guest today, someone I've wanted in from the start. We have Lino from Men's Medicine. He's very successful in the mental health space. I've been a personal friend of Lino for probably 10 to 12 years now, something like that. And I've seen him grow and develop into the person he is today. And all I see him do is changing people's lives. Never heard a bad word about it. It's always had great success and great reviews. So welcome, Lino.
Welcome, brother. Thanks for having us on.
Tell us a bit about yourself, man. What's going on with Men's Medicine? People want to know what that is. You're in the mental health space, so let's touch on that.
Men's Medicine, we originally started off, hence the name Men's Medicine, just working with men. And I guess the meteoric rise really of Men's Medicine attracted a lot of attention from the women, from the female community as well. So in our second year, we opened up the space to invite women into our community. So now it's a men's and a women's, support and empowerment community movement. And we started off with walks, and now we do workshops, couples workshops, community events, online programs, a whole bunch of stuff. But
so why is mental health so important?
I come originally from the fitness industry, and while working with all of my clients, what I found was the way that I helped my clients, the best way that I helped my clients get in shape was by talking to them about their lives. So when I went to develop myself as a coach more, that was the route that I went down, the mindset and the coaching, direction, which kind of found me working with people that were struggling with emotions, expression, childhood stuff.
Dude, the amount of people that come to me and, we'll be sitting in a consult or whatever, and they just start crying and whatever it is, and you give them the hard truth, and sometimes I get called, I'll see you next Tuesday, or I'm quite rude, or I'm too honest, but at the end of the day, I always stick to that honesty path, because I find for their own mentality, it's good to hear it from someone. My analogy is that I'll tell you if you've got food on your face. If we're out to have something to eat, I'm going to tell you if you've got food on your face. Or if I don't like your shirt, I'm going to tell you, because otherwise everyone else is going to think, you got an ugly shirt on. You know what I mean? Now, where that kind of crosses over for me is I started to see that, people started to trust me because they respect my opinion. Mm-hmm. And yeah, dude, you're completely right, is because you're with this, they're not just investing their money into you for what you pay a PT per hour or a coach per hour or whatever it is. They're investing their time, and you're the person, at one stage when you're PTing, do what you're doing, or certainly what I do, you're probably the biggest factor in their life. Like, they look forward to seeing you every single week. They might see you multiple times a week. You might be the person they see the most. In a whole week. When did you decide? How did you decide to, or realize to, cross yourself out of that space, and then get into what you're doing now?
It organically sort of happened. We did our first, event, and that event went viral. Basically, we went on a walk, and it was filmed, and we put it out there on social media, and it went viral. It was like 100,000 views in like the next 24 hours. And what we had was, we had people all across Australia and New Zealand wanting us to come and do that in their city, asking us to come walk with them. So that's what I did. I flew to those cities. I did the recon, flew back. We went back with the boys that we originally walked with, and we walked with people in their cities.
So tell me, with this, because there's people out there, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that you've dealt with and that I've dealt with, but I want you to answer this question. They shy away from mental health. I don't need mental help. I'm strong enough. They're kind of running away from their feelings and emotions and things that they've obviously dealt with in their past lives. Mm-hmm. How do you make someone self-aware of that, and how do you make someone take action on that?
In our space, if you provide the space, generally it will just show up. People want to talk. People want to share. People want to express. And if we think about health and fitness, really, especially bodybuilding, it's a form of expression, right?
Yeah.
This is the way that I'm expressing my own, your body is an art. Yeah. And when people are going through stuff, they want to express they just don't have the space to do it. So we provide that safe space to do it, and exercises and tools for them to tap into that, I guess.
Dude, it's funny because I say the same thing. Like, I'll never chase someone to come see me. Like, I've got clients that are dealing with shit, and they come to me for advice, and obviously not at your level, but they come to me for advice with their personal lives and things like that. But if they don't turn up, I'm not chasing them.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit there and say, come on, get down here, or let's meet up, whatever it is. It's like, no, if you step through the door, then I'll take over. But you have to make that action first. Yeah. And I think that's a really good kind of answer you gave there, because you shouldn't be going out hustling people to come in to see you. Because the other thing too, if people are getting hustled to come in to see you, they probably see it as a money-making venture. Or they say, why do you want to help me so much? People can kind of shy away from it in that way. But as soon as they step into that space and they come into your space, your safe zone,
yeah,
you agree with me, that's what you're doing. You're trying to take over that spot from there, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That, and I guess the container that you provide for them, if they're committed to it, they're committed the moment that they step in to do the work.
Yep.
The medicine will do itself.
So then why should someone trust you? Why should someone, I'm coming in to see you. I don't know you from I've just seen you on Instagram and Facebook, you guys doing your thing.
Yep.
You're going on walks and stuff like that, and I've got some deep shit.
Yep.
That no one else knows about.
Yep.
So why should I trust Lino? Why should I trust you and your team?
I guess.
What's your sorry to finish. What's your background to make you more relatable to me?
What's our point of difference, or we're talking?
Well, I've got shit in my past life. A lot of the shit you probably know about. But if I'm walking on the outside, you don't know me, right?
Yep.
I always feel when I can give someone something to relate to and to show that I'm still human. Unfortunately, people see me as an IFBB pro, successful coach. High-end athletes and this and this. I'm a single dad, love my daughter. Nothing really seems to go wrong in my life, right? But people don't understand that I'm still human. I still hurt. I still cry. I still bleed. Yep. But people see me as this character, and they can't seem to see that I'm a normal person. When I sit down with someone, they always have a conversation with me afterwards. And they go, "Oh wow, you actually are just like a normal person." You know. I imagine you would have to give some sort of back end story about your life to make you relatable to the people. So it brings you down to their level.
100%. If you step into my space, I do my best on my platforms to be as transparent as possible, but I can't share absolutely every story. But when you step into my space, there are no stories that I won't tell.
Yeah.
From what got me to here on the Gold Coast. I had a falling out with my father when I was back in 2009, and that's what was actually the catalyst to get me to the Gold Coast. Some of the challenges I've experienced growing up with my brothers, my life in my partying years, my younger years, violence, miscarriage with my wife, separation, depression, suicidal, experiences, events that have happened to my life as well. There's nothing that I won't share. And I guess when it came to transitioning from wanting to upskill myself as a PT into this coaching space, the tools that I've learned through my journey, they're the ones that I utilize to help share with those that come into our space. To help them grow through whatever they're struggling with, as well as the real stories. The real stories, they're probably the most important part. Without there, you don't have any skin in the game. If you've got no skin in the game, then what, like you said, why would anyone ever trust you?
I think the hardest part, dude, is that people tend to seem like they're aware of something and they can talk about what's going wrong. And, I know the answer is this, but getting someone to take action.
Yep.
That's the hardest part. You can be aware of something. You can do all your self-development and all that shit.
Yeah.
But to sit there and actually, take action. And I'm sure you would have dealt with some people that have, you don't do a course, but have failed themselves at some points as well.
Yeah.
So as a mentoring role, do you just have to kind of let them go and figure their own shit out? Or like, how do you kind of keep that crossover between awareness and action?
Connection. If it does not move you, it will not change you.
Okay.
Simple as that. If it doesn't come from the heart, or if it doesn't pull on your heartstring, if it doesn't move you emotionally some way, shape or form, it won't last. Not only will it won't last, it may not even get you to get going either. So majority of what we do is all connection based. Connection with yourself, connection with those that are around you, connection with your family, whatever it is. But primarily, originally starting off with connection with yourself. Most people aren't even connected, tapped in with themselves, let alone the people that are around them. Yet we have a lot of people that are in relationships, changing from relationship, part of families, parents, fathers that have, mothers that have children.
The biggest problem with relationships I see in this day and age, the biggest problem I see with relationships this day and age is that people say, oh, Lino makes me so happy,
Yeah.
Sam should make himself happy.
Yes.
Lino makes himself happy, right? And if you were to have a relationship with those two people, right, they share each other's happiness.
That's right.
And that's where you see someone going from person to person, I remember you back in the day, you had a lot of females around you, as did I.
Yes,
right?
you did.
But at the end of the day, dude, I was very lonely and depressed. I was scared to have a night to myself.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. It wasn't the fact I was a horny, young 20-year-old trying to get out and get amongst it. It wasn't that at all, dude. It was the fact that I was so afraid and insecure of being alone, and I wasn't able to face who I truly was, and I was essentially running from that. And really, hurt people, and that was me in a sense. That was me, hurting other. They were very good girls that I was meeting in my life and things like that. And I've got a daughter now, and I think, fuck, what if some arsehole treated them the way I did?
Yeah.
So that's not things I'm obviously proud of, but I kind of had to have those things to kind of make myself aware that when I lost someone at a point in time that I truly loved, at that point in time years ago, it was a result of that. A result of me not facing my actions, staying accountable, and that was probably one of my biggest kind of wake up calls.
And I think you think about the love that you have for your daughter, and does that, I guess, question to you, does that spill over into all the other areas of your life?
I don't think so, unfortunately, because she looks at me and I melt. I really try. I think, Lino, the biggest thing for me with me and my daughter is I always thought I was in balance. I always thought, I loved everything that I was doing in life and things like that. And I do, but to love something as much as I do with my daughter more and more every single day. Like, dude, I just sit there. She's watching Frozen for the 50th fucking time
today,
and I'm singing the words, just mouthing the words while I'm cooking, dude, because I know how many times I watched it. But I'm also just watch the TV just to watch her reaction every single day.
Yeah.
And I think what's kind of made me more empathetic in a way towards people in life is how honest a kid can be.
Yeah.
Honesty and love from a child, where they're so innocent to everything else, and it's kind of brought me back down to make my life a little bit more simple in its own actions.
And I guess a question I got for you is it possible to have that same, I guess, depth level of love that you do have for your daughter for the other areas of your life?
I think there's definitely potential. I mean, I think I'll always be biased towards my daughter.
Yeah, 100%, understandably.
But I think I'm not searching. I guess I'm not really searching to make myself love the other areas of my life. What my daughter has made me do is make me appreciate the other areas of my life.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything that I love doing. Like the job I have, I work the hours I work. I get her on Fridays, drop her back Mondays. Like we were saying before, I never lived for the weekends until now because I get her on my weekends,
Well, it has done it then.
So
let that land there.
Yeah.
So it actually has done it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
by having her has allowed you to appreciate everything else so much more.
Oh, I totally agree, dude. Like we were talking before we got on set here about planning and looking into the future.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest strengths and weaknesses was looking too far into the future, because I've missed out on, throughout my life, although I've dealt with a lot of hardship and adversity, I've always been very lucky to have a very strong, tight-knit family. And because I was so focused on looking into the future, I've missed out on some very key family events that I'm not going to say I regret, but I've missed out on those things, and I would have liked to be there. Now I think back at it, I think work could have waited. This thing that bodybuilding show could have waited. But again, that kind of, with my daughter and how she came and how things happen so quickly. She's almost 2 years old now.
Yeah.
That's where I started just naturally doing the gratitude things, the breath work, the meditation, the reading, self-development. Before up to probably 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I've never read a book before in my life.
Yeah.
Done a civil engineering degree, but I'd never read a book before in my life until I started reading books on self-development, like things I was obviously, interested in. But again, coming back on my daughter, she's the one that kind of made me realize to appreciate the moment that's in front of you, because it all happens very, very quickly. That's why even things like where deaths come, friends of yours, I never used to deal with them. I just always kind of just brush them off.
Yeah.
I'd never mourn for that person, and those things would trap up inside. Now I had a recent friend of mine die, Sean Roden.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, dude, I think I saw you that day, was it?
Yeah, man. That was, you were the one of the first. Well, you were the first person I thought of.
I went home that day and I cried for about 2 hours. I had to get Paula to come get Naya. And I think it all just kind of hit me. I sat on the couch and.
Was that before or after I saw you that day?
Just after, dude. I went home. I was getting groceries.
Yeah.
I was getting groceries and I went home and everyone was asking me that day and I saw you and I was, I was pretty calm about things. It wasn't until I actually got home and sat down and put on Frozen for Naya again. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, Paula, you got to come get her. Like, I'm not good. Yeah. And then I felt guilty that I was giving it back, but I'm like, no, I need to mourn this. I need to accept what's going on, And the biggest part that hit me is that he's got a daughter as well, and he's left her behind. And I just think, shit,
man, because I got a daughter as well.
Yeah.
But just to hear you say what you're saying, man, means a lot to me. Means a lot to me because you said a few really important pieces. If you don't feel that, that's trapped in you. If you don't mourn your friends, the loss of his life, that's going to stay inside of you. And that's going to hold your joy, down. Now, how does that affect you? How does that trickle down? Is that your daughter misses out because there's a piece that you're holding inside. Yeah. You haven't allowed these emotions to be expressed, which means now they're suppressed. Yeah. Yep. And you go to function, and we see this all the time. People, they're good, and then something happens, and all of a sudden something's not right.
Dude, that afternoon, she was normal. I wasn't agitated towards her. I was just like, fuck, and then I'm like, fuck, something's wrong. You know?
Well, your friend passed away.
And even when I gave her back to Paula, she messaged me about half an hour after. She goes, I'm here if you need anything. And then that's just when I just fucking unleashed, broke out, because I'm like, fuck, obviously I didn't realize I looked that bad, in the face, Well,
the body doesn't lie, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the percentage wise, but body language is the key.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I learned that in security, dude. Everyone thought I was this big tough fighter. Yeah. I just stand my ground and not break eye contact, knowing that I get the shit kicked out of me. But then they'd leave,
The question you asked before, just to go back on the question you asked before, what does it take to get some, the awareness to go to action? And it's pulling on those heartstrings. It's having your heart moved. And if it doesn't come from the heart, then it will not move you. If it doesn't move you, it will not change you, like you just said before. And that Naya has moved you so much that it's impacted the rest of your life.
Do you reckon everyone says that to you though? Like when you have a kid, your life changes?
100%. But my daughter saved my life.
But, your daughter saved your life?
My daughter saved my life in the sense I did. You know how you're spending weekends every weekend with your daughter? That's what I did when I realized I had to make change in my life. I had a falling out with my daughter's mother and it left me in a state that I never wanted to feel again. And we had such a fallout, I didn't know where my daughter was. That's the truth. I didn't know where my daughter was. She went MIA on me for about 2 weeks, and I was a father without a kid. And I was
how did that make you feel at that point in time?
Made me feel lost.
So that was your big realization of life?
That was my big realization that changed me.
Yeah.
Changed me, changed my life. And I just remember telling myself, I never, ever want to feel like this ever again. So I gave up the life. I gave up the partying life there and then. And
how old is your daughter now?
She's 15.
She's 15 now, I saw your post, yeah. And for the next 6 months, I spent every weekend. I worked Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, doing what you're just doing now. Yeah. Saturday, Sunday, it was with her. And eventually my goal was to eventually get us into our own place and then get her full time. And then by the following year, that's exactly what happened. Oh, so
we eventually got our place, and then we eventually got full-time. I don't have a full-time now.
Yeah.
But I just wanted an opportunity to actually look after her by myself full-time.
Yeah.
Because when we live in the fitness world, we work clients in the morning, work them at night, and if they're at school, well, when they wake up, we're not there. When they go to bed, we're not there either. And I'm like, man, I'm not really doing the thing.
Yeah, you want to
I
be
haven't dropped her off to school. I haven't picked her up from school. All of these sorts of, simple things. I might be able to go to her sports day and all of that sort of stuff. But even things like sitting, down and eating dinner together.
So your challenge to yourself was, I want to be a full-time dad. It wasn't to take it away from the mother or anything like that.
Not at all.
You just
I wanted to experience what being a full-time dad was. That's where my integrity lies.
Yeah.
My highest value is family, yet here I am working all the time.
Has that fathering role kind of crossed over now into men's medicine?
100%.
Yeah.
Men's medicine is built on family values. I guess at the end of the day, especially as men, we're really good at building stuff. We're really good at working. But at the end of the day, we want to share our life with someone, right? And if we go home and our kids haven't seen us, they don't respond to us. If our partners haven't seen us, then we don't have that intimacy and that relationship there as well. And if I asked you, why do you work? What do you say?
To provide.
Yeah. So the people that we're working for, we're spending all our time working, but we're not spending any time with the people that we're actually working for.
Yeah, I learned this recently.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying.
I learned this
So at some point in time, all the stuff that we're building should move towards a direction that we actually get that time, money, freedom, where we can spend more time with the people that we're actually working for.
Yeah, dude, I agree there, because, you used to always look at people and they work heaps and relationships would break down and things like that. And I always just look on the outside and think, oh, why are they breaking down when, they're trying to give the life they can give to their family? But, it comes back down to connection.
Yeah.
Monetary shit doesn't matter. And again, like as Naya gets older now, like the first year she was born, she was, she's by the mum the whole time. It wasn't until she turned 1 where she started to, all right, who's he? I want to get to know him. And when I kind of went down that path and started seeing things with her and appreciating those little things with her, it's not to stop my emphasis to work. It just made me say, you know what? I'm not working weekends anymore. If I'm going to give up my time and work 5 a.m. till 7 p.m. every single day, I'll keep doing that. But when it's my time with her, I will finish early on a Friday. I'll start later on a Monday. And, I don't answer my phone because I want to make sure that quality time, that connection isn't lost, because at the end of the day, she doesn't care about money. She doesn't care about what car I drive, where I live, the gym I've built. She just wants my time, and when I see her yelling at daddy when she's running to me out of daycare, I'm like, man, that's all I want, and it doesn't matter what kind of, I could be driving a bus, I could be doing whatever the fuck it is. She still sees me as the same person.
There are plenty of men, there are plenty of people out there, but I guess for the sake of argument, I would almost say predominantly men that build empires. But because of the breakdown of the relationship in their family, it almost means nothing.
It does mean nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They built this big empire, all of the house, the mansion, the cars, and yet their kids don't want to spend time with them. And after a while, the penny really drops and they're like, man, I did this because I thought that's what they wanted, or I did this because I thought that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but I think in their defense, especially if you're self-made, I was a lower middle class family. I had a very close family, which I'm lucky with, but we always had food on the table and things like that. But now I think back, my parents were, they were really struggling. Yeah. And my dad worked through, my dad's almost 80 now.
Yeah, wow.
And he was working right up to about 2 or 3 years ago. And even still, he's still working now in the holiday house. He just doesn't want to work anymore on the tools, And that correlated to me because he said, you don't want to do what I'm doing at my age. Yeah. Work hard early, And in a way, it's cost me a lot of things. But do I regret it? No, because I think the sense of being financially free as well, and has to be some sort of aspect towards life.
100%. As I said at the beginning, you have to build it at the beginning with the end goal to have that time, money, freedom.
But that's what I mean. So, because you would, although you're helping people with their mentality, you would have to give them some sort of business guidance as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how to approach their business. So, how do you get that ratio right, dude? Like, how do you tell someone, I want to be financially free?
Yep.
Okay, let's use me. I want to be financially free. I want to, last year, for example, I was taking the family on a holiday, maybe once a month for a weekend or 5 days away. We go up to Cairns or Noosa and things like that. And I say to myself, no, I want to be financially free where every month I want to go away for a full week, but I've got to work myself to get to that situation.
Yeah.
So I can, if they want to buy something, we don't have to go on a budget. Oh, I don't want to stay there, it's too expensive. No, if I want to stay there, I want to stay there, right?
Yeah.
They're these things I want to do. I don't have to worry about work when I go away. So you have to build some sort of an empire before you can go do that.
100%.
All right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've got to keep some sort of connection, whether it be with your kids, your relationship. So if someone like me was to come to you and say that, what's your answer? How do you structure something like that?
Values is a really great place to start. Is why do you do what you do? Yeah. If you're not, if whatever it is you're doing isn't in alignment with your values, eventually it's going to fall over. So I'm a believer of the best plan is the one that works. So you might be doing a lot of hours, but if it's only going to last the next couple of months, well, you're eventually going to burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you were talking, I think another thing is really important is sharing the journey. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those that share the journey with you, on your journey, they're the people that you're going to build the greatest relationships with. And I guess as you're building that empire, like with my daughter, I communicate with her every single day. And I share with her what we're going through and what the plans are and what we're working towards and the values of our family and what the future holds and what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. And that's how we maintain that relationship, how we maintain the connection between us. So when we do make the sacrifice to work harder, she understands what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm not just solely just going out there working by myself, not talking to my wife or not talking to my daughter, and I'm just thinking that they understand why I'm working without any communication whatsoever as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because, if you weren't communicating with them, they don't know the full aspect of men's medicine. It just looks like you're going to go hang out with the boys and you're worshipped as this great guy, and and then they're sitting there saying, well, what about us? You're giving all the time and trying to fix their lives. What about us?
And the other thing is, there's an abundance of time. There's plenty of time. Are you allocating your time wisely? Are you investing your time wisely? And a lot of people are extremely busy, but very rarely are they productive.
Well, I think, I think that too. I think, productivity, productivity is a big part. I mean, how often do you just get on your phone and just start scrolling on Instagram? When you're meant to be doing plans or whatever it is, or taking that phone call, it's very easy just to get lost and, I better text that person back quickly. You didn't have to text that person back, but I find, dude, like for me, and one thing I'm still trying to get a grasp of myself is that when you talk about your values and your beliefs and things like that, the biggest problem from my side, which is what I try to teach in the bodybuilding world, where this mental therapy kind of crosses over, is that when you do a bodybuilding show, you need hard work, accountability, and structure. And with those three things, you can achieve a great physique. And you can keep progressing on that physique and someday maybe win a show. And that's what kind of pushed me in the areas where I've kind of succeed in my life. I was able to take those key elements and put them in other areas. Maybe some areas not as much as what I should have, but I've been accountable to that and understood that in the future I need to put more into this and more into that, and have that kind of balance put in check. The biggest problem in the fitness world is that people are doing this for short-term validation, for whatever reason it may be, but it is only ever short term. That's why you probably dealt with people over the years. They're just talking about doing a comp and doing it back to back, and I'm going to do another shit. Because when they come out of it, they don't really take the disciplines from it. They just want to look good, which is very shallow and kind of short term. I'd imagine you deal with not just bodybuilders and competitors, but athletes. And athletes, like life after sport and things like that, is a very depressing time when you realize there's nothing left.
And that's like a massive thing what you're talking about now. That people were only built for the sport. And outside of the sport, they didn't actually know how to live life. A lot of pro athletes that only knew how to take care of their body while they were playing the sport, and then realized they only did what they were told.
Never understood.
They didn't understand what they were doing. So post-sport, they massively rebounded. They didn't absorb any of the information that they were receiving, and they just did whatever that they were told. Some that were, that were old competitors And that was the only way they knew how to live life. So now that they've stopped competing post-comp life, they actually don't know how to switch over and live a normal life. They only know how to meal prep and their normal split when they were in season.
Yeah.
And they don't know what off season is or any other season. They only know comp season. That's the only season that they know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, comp season's like for a short period of time. And I think like we understood, as the bodybuilding industry had happened, back in the old days, they would bulk and then they would cut.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we realized it's too much stress on the body, and I think when I got into this industry, what I felt was that the fitness industry basically almost lied to the whole of society. That if you take care of your exercise and nutrition, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But there's so many more pieces to the puzzle.
There's so many more pieces. I get what they're saying. Put yourself first.
Yeah.
Like when the idea of putting yourself first, I was sitting on an aircraft once and they said, in case of an emergency, fix your face 100%. Mask before you fix someone else's. And then I realized the penny dropped and I'm like, hold up. I can't help someone else unless I help myself.
That's right.
Hence why you had to help yourself before you get in men's medicine. I had to help myself before I become a coach and doing what I'm doing. But, helping myself just had to make me realize that these disciplines of, accountability, hard work and structure, apply that to your business, apply that to your relationship, apply that to your kids, the list goes on. But what I'm trying to say here is that when it comes to the competitors, and you said how narrow-minded they are, you get narrow-minded businessmen.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
You get people that are so narrow-minded and just fixated with their partner that it becomes toxic. How would you pull someone like that away? How do you make that? How do you pull them out of that situation and try and to redirect them to say, look, there's more going on in life that you have to put your hard work into and create that balance?
Recently, with some of my new clients, what I've had to look at is where they're investing their time. How much you're investing into your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. When I ask the spiritual, 0. When I ask them to give a rating on the other ones, 0, 0, 0. Physical, everything.
Yeah, 10.
Everything. It's 10 out of 10. Everything into the fitness, nothing into the emotional, nothing into the mental, nothing into the spiritual. May have watched a few motivational videos, but if we look at that logically, and that's just a real simple, process, we can see why things are feeling unbalanced. I can see why got this phenomenal body, but I can see why I'm not feeling that right upstairs or inside. You can't be upset about the results that you haven't invested in or worked for.
Of course, yeah.
So if you've invested nothing into your spiritual health, nothing into your emotional body, nothing into your mental body, into your mindset, then we can never be upset for there's no return because you've invested nothing.
Dude, people are listening to this right now and they go, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I've only just worked on my body.
Yep.
So if I only work 10 out of 10 on my body, right, I'm the person asking you these questions. Lino, I've only ever worked 10 out of 10 on my body.
Yep.
What's the balance I should be aiming for with that? Like, do I bring my body down to a 4 out of 10 and then try and bring it across, or do I try and go balls deep and go 10 out of 10 across the board?
I would start investing in the other areas, and the thing is that you're already doing great on this one. This one's taken care of. Yeah, you can't fill that one up anymore. It's like once the tank is full, if you put more petrol in the petrol tank, it doesn't make the car go any better. It just starts pouring out now. It's full now.
In that part, I call them habits. So I have my, I heard this from Andy Frisella, and I have a power list that I follow every day. So five on my list every day for myself, right? And I write down when I start my day the 5 things I must do, right? And then when, for example, if I was, out of shape right now and I'm just, in a depressive mood, I'd say, okay, got to get all my meals in. I've got to train today. I've got to do some cardio. I've got to make 5 phone calls. I've got to read X amount of pages, Now, over time, when training becomes a habit every single day, you don't really put that on your list anymore.
Yeah.
You fill the gap with something else.
Yeah.
Now, when I give this to people, and people say, "Oh, it sounds easy. I can do more than that." It's like, no. Just do the 5. To do that every single day, it's actually very hard because it comes out of consistency, right? But what it does is that the things that you thought were hard, they actually become habits that you do that you don't even think about it, and you're progressively growing. Now, when we talk about long goals that you've said to me, off air and on here today, they're a product of short-term accomplishments, which builds momentum, which builds confidence to keep pushing, in that same direction. Correct?
Yep.
Do you do something similar with people like that?
Usually, I want to look at your values. I want to look at your values because it's our values that drive our behavior.
Yeah.
Yep. What matters to you is what's going to move you.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I want to talk to you about your values. I want to talk to you about your beliefs. And I want to get you to learn how to feel your emotions as well. Mm-hmm. Yep. For anyone that trades, we all know that our emotions play a big part in trading, but our emotions play a big part in life, full stop.
Yep.
Yep. Man, they will crumble the man who looks like he's the strongest man if he is not investing anything into his emotions.
I've seen the people on your walks.
Yeah.
Some scary looking motherfuckers.
There are.
I know most of them. Yeah. And when I see them boiling down, I'm like, what are you saying to them, man?
Yeah, man. Well, this is the part that they try to hide away, shove away, suppress, push down, and they don't. And I'm just tapping on things that they know that are real for them.
Yeah.
Yep. And it doesn't take much. And on top of that, for those that have never done breathwork before, breathwork is one of those things that allows us to tap into our body, and that whatever's stored inside, it has the ability to bring it up. Mm-hmm. So like for me, our values is what drives our behavior. Our belief systems play a big part in that as well. And our emotions, all of these things drive our behavior. So they're the things that I want to talk about first. I want to instill some rituals as opposed to routines. Routines is like a to-do list. It's a checklist. Rituals is something that you believe in. Yeah. And for me, my rituals will anchor my day in. And then I guess my values and my belief systems, that will drive my behavior.
Can we talk on the difference between rituals and routine? Because someone like myself, I'm a very routine-based person.
Yep.
But I also believe routine can make you quite numb to what's going on.
Yep.
And I know that with myself because I've done that many times. I've got such a set thing routine that's helping me progress in one area, but it is making me fail in others.
Yeah.
So explain to us what's the difference between a ritual and routine? Go deeper into that.
I guess a ritual is more purpose built. It's more purpose built. It's more heartfelt. It's extremely conscious. Yeah, there's a deeper meaning behind it as opposed to a routine. You put it on your checklist. I know if I do X, Y, and Z, once I tick them off, I'm done. Yeah,
so that's like my list I had before.
That's right, yeah.
But what about it? Like, so would you say like a ritual would be something like Naya and I always go to sushi every single Friday when I pick her up from daycare.
Yep.
Would you say it's more of a ritual based because I'm...
Yeah, that is a ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a ritual because of what it gives you. Notice how it gives you so much more back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's the difference between a routine and a ritual. A routine is a to-do list, and a ritual has deeper meaning, deeper value to it. My daily rituals are, the morning is my time. I wake up at 4, I leave home at 4:30, I'm at the beach, I'm sitting in stillness, then I'll do my stretches, and then I'll breathe. After that, I hit the ocean. Go for a swim, I'm back by about 5:15, 5:30.
Rain, hail or shine?
Yeah, rain, hail or shine.
Yeah.
Rain, hail or shine. And then I'll organise myself to be ready to be at the gym by 6, train between 6 to 7. Mm-hmm. And then that's all of my time from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. That's the time that I've allocated for myself. And at 7 a.m., my wife goes to the gym. I'll take my son. I'll take him for a walk. That's mine and his time together. But that 4 to 7 is my time. Now, if I don't do that time, what ends up happening is now that starts to cut into not only my family's time, but also my business time as well. That's time for me to be by myself, to sit with myself, to feel what's there for me. Maybe yesterday was a really shit day, and today I want to clear that energy. Yeah. That ritual, there's deeper meaning into it because I'm grounding myself as well. I've got my feet in the earth. Most people wear shoes every day, never touch the soil.
Yeah.
So they're never connected to Mother Earth. This is the thing where we live on. Yep. I'm out there by the ocean. I'm out there before sunrise. So I'm benefiting from the blue, red light, at sunrise as well. Breathing in the fresh ocean air. I'm sitting in stillness. I'm getting some quietness in there as well. And then my yoga stretches help me open up my body. I did them because probably about a decade now ago, I had some really bad hip and back problems. So I put together a yoga routine to release my hips and release my lower back. And then when I drop into breath, and for those that don't understand breath, basically when the body is highly oxygenated, it will release a chemical called DMT. DMT is a psychedelic. You get in mushrooms, get in cactus, and it allows you to step out of, I guess, this physical realm.
Yep.
Yeah. So whatever's inside, that'll come up. And I find that in my breath is where I can find answers. If I haven't been able to find an answer, it has a tendency to show up.
Yep.
Yep. So now I'm able to dive deeper in myself. Now I've changed my state as well. After that, I come back to, and then I'll jump in the ocean. Now I'm getting the negative ion exchange from the ocean.
Yep.
So it's like benefit on benefit on benefit. It's not just me there breathing and
kumbaya.
Kumbaya. Having there's so many, there's layers and layers of value that are in it. At the end of my breath work, I'll drop into gratitude as well. When we have more gratitude, we have more happiness. So this is like my daily ritual practice. Not only that, the compound effect on that stacks every single day.
See, it's hard, man, because like I made those things into habits myself. I'm going to take you up on the beach stuff though, because I do live near the beach. So I'm going to make the effort to go down and do that. But pretty much everything you say there, I have my own take, but I'm doing something similar. But I've always seen that as routine. So that's more of a ritual of what I've been doing. Correct?
Yeah. If it means more to you.
Of course it does, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I believe in being in control of your day.
Yep.
So that's why I won't lie at the moment. I have been checking my phone and things like that when usually another good friend of mine, I learned from him, no phones an hour before bed or an hour as soon as you wake up, you know, and lately I was doing that and I realized what I was doing and I was starting to be negative away. I was interrupting my sleep and all these things. And you're not in control because what you're doing is you're looking to react rather than be proactive.
I guess another question is what are your top 3 values?
My top 3 values, that's a good question. If you were to, I got values, I'm just trying to think the best way to kind of put it together for you. My top 3 values would obviously be my daughter.
Yep.
My family as well. And I like to value myself.
So your routines, they mean more to you because they're in alignment with your values.
Yes, correct. And look, when I go through, like when I try to meditate, I try to not think about certain things. I try to really, have a very clear mind and kind of eliminate the process of thoughts. I kind of treat it as a way of, you have a shower every day, and you clean your body. Yeah. My understanding of meditation is to, I guess, cleanse your brain and eliminate the thoughts.
I think that's what has become like what it is to be understood. It's really just about being still. Yeah, and just being with yourself. That's really what it's about. A lot of the time people are trying to clear the thoughts. By trying to clear the thoughts, it produces more thoughts.
Yeah. Does that make sense? When I first started. And that's why, but I think the biggest problem people do though.
Yeah.
Because I say, meditate, and people look at me like, dude, you're some big roided up fucking bodybuilder. You meditate, They go, I can't sit still for more than 2 minutes. I'm like, just meditate for 2 minutes then.
Yeah. Yeah. And just allow yourself to be with yourself.
And if all you can last is 2 minutes, that's 2 minutes more than what you had last time.
Well, 2 minutes is obviously all you needed. Anything beyond that's not going to serve you.
See, I'm always content anywhere between that 5 to 10 minute mark.
Yeah.
For myself.
And if that's what serves you, that's what serves you. But the purpose isn't for you to force yourself to be there beyond what serves you. If getting into the practice is something that you have to keep on trying, then so be it. But if there's thoughts that are running through your mind, allow them to run. Allow whatever's there to be there, because you'll eventually find.
The key word there was if you feel like you have to do something. Yeah. If you don't want to do something, it's always going to be a chore. And I think those things, people need to understand that, they've got to understand that, you're not trying to force yourself to do something like that. You have to understand that it is going to be better for you long term. Like I always start the day now on a positive.
What I would invite you to do is just to try it on. Like you go to the shop, you go try clothes on. If you feel like you're not very familiar with it, I'm not sure whether I want that jacket. I think I would like to get it. You try it on. You think you would like to try meditation? Just like anything, everyone starts off with small steps. Try it on. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Take a seat. there's so many apps that are out there. For me, when I first started, I would listen to the Calm app. And
Me too. That's what I started with. That's what I started with. Yeah.
And they've got a series.
Yeah.
You literally put the headphones on, and I would just lay there in bed, press play, and I would just lay there. I'm like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. That's how it started. And how it's going. There's that social media. This is how it started. This is how it's going. And how it's going right now is I'm sitting on the beach.
Yeah.
But how it started was I was laying in my bed.
But the biggest thing about it, dude, is that people would look at you and say they've never seen you on a bad day. You know, like, dude, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, Lino, I've never seen you on a bad day.
Yeah.
I've never seen a negative post on social media. I've never seen, nothing from you in that regard.
Yeah.
And then people would say, how do you not have a bad day? But I think it's hard to have a bad day when you start the day on a positive. Hence why putting yourself first, like, dude, what I've done recently as well? Whenever I start getting lost in my thoughts and I started looking at my phone through the night and shit like that and waking up on my phone in the middle of the night doing work, right? And I'm like, hold up a second, you're defeating the whole purpose of doing this.
Yep.
I've started training at 5 a.m. again.
Yep.
Which I never used to do. I cut out, clients in that time and I lost some money out of it. And very similar to you, 2 hours after that is 2 hours of my own time to, work on myself and do those things.
And
so really,
that's another daily ritual of yours.
And that's why, that's it. Now, I used to try and get these things done throughout the day, and I was just kind of getting lost in the wish-wash, and you'd call me up and say, hey, dude, can I get in and see you short notice? But I'm like, I'll brush my shit to the side. I'll put you in. Where now I've got to stay strict on those times, and now it puts me in a positive state that no matter what happens in my day, I've always started on a positive. I feel in control of my day. And you tend to look at things less negative. So when you do have a shit day, you do somewhat in a crazy way enjoy it when it is a shit day, because it tests you as a challenge and you want to kind of bounce your way out of it.
Well, you think about it, like, now your actions, the way you live your life is reflective of your values as well. So you're in integrity. So it's really hard to be upset.
You realize how much energy it has to give to be upset or hate someone.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, when I used to hate certain people and whatever, I'm like, man, I think back now, I'm like, that cost me so much time, so much energy just on, they don't give a fuck anyway.
You think about, when I train, that's my most, outside of when I'm doing my morning routine, that's my most creative time. What I have to force myself to do is to not open my phone and go into my notes and start writing all my ideas down. When I'm training, that's when my creative juices are flowing, and that's a personal time for me. I imagine when you're training, that's the same thing for you.
Well, you're a big, are you a big caffeine drinker, stimulants, everything like that? Like, do you, what do you,
no,
you stay high on yourself?
Kind of a long black's about it. I'm a bit caffeine sensitive. So actually, I got my my pre-workout sort of. So I know that you noticed that you used to put a lot of stims in yours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, he's got a fat burner and a pre-workout in that.
A bit of everything.
Like, it can't be too bad. So I just put a little bit of pyro in there, put a little bit of whatever other workout I've got in there. And I just allow the stack, to do its thing. But when I start to find that it's making me a bit overwhelmed, I'll ditch it. But my morning routine is
what makes it.
Yeah,
there
man.
It is. That's what I wanted. Yeah. Whenever I go back to the ground roots of things, especially training again at 5 in the I don't really, now I've kind of go, and I'll say ritual. I'm doing my rituals rather than my routines.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning and things like that. When I go to train now, I don't need, I love my Dr. Dre and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I used to have that blasting the gym hard, and I still have it throughout the day. But even when I train, it's actually a little bit more quiet.
Yeah.
I don't need pre's like I used to.
Yeah.
I don't need coffee like I used to. And it's funny, dude. Like, Donya, one of the main girls at work here, she knows every 2 clients go get Sam an espresso, and I'm like, and they just go cold. I'm like, look, I don't want them anymore, because starting on the day like that, I just kind of have a high on life energy, throughout the day. And I was never addicted to coffee. Like, I didn't need a coffee to. Don't talk to me as I have my coffee. I've never been like that. It's just one thing I've noticed, that when she brings it down, like
autopilot.
Yeah.
And
routine.
This goes back to what I was saying to you before about when it comes from the heart. That's what will move you. And the thing about when we talk about the heart, without it sound fluffy, like when you love something, the length and the longevity that it has will outlive any stimulant that you could take.
So is that your message when people look at you and you follow something you truly love doing?
Well, you think about you think about your daughter, right?
Did anyone call you crazy for doing this when you first started?
This? There's a thing that always goes through my head. It's something my dad said to me when I was young was, don't worry about what other people are doing. You just worry about what you're doing. Other people are going to do what they're going to do, but your work is your work. It's something my dad used to say to me, and that was referring to my schoolwork or working on the farm and wanting to go play with my friends.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always sort of stayed with me. I'm like, why don't I care too much about what other people are doing? I'm like, because whatever my heart wants to do, whatever my mind wants to do, once that seed's been planted, it's over. That's what I'm doing.
People are so focused on what everyone else thinks about them, but in the reality, you're not that important and no one really gives a fuck what you do anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I've always found that the people that have tried to talk me out of what I'm doing, you know, going from a uni degree to being when I first started doing that was a full-time PT. I knew my vision long-term were the ones closest to you, like your family for me. Because people have all the time, they want to chase their dreams. They might want to do what you're doing, what I'm doing. You might want to be a champion chess player. I don't give a shit what it is. But they always have the people close to them talking out of it. And then they resent those people.
Yeah.
At the time, I did resent my family a little bit.
Yeah.
But the truth was, when I look at it, is that they didn't want me to fail doing what I'm doing. They just care for me a lot. They didn't want to see me fail doing what I'm doing. They'd rather go for something safe. And that's what people have to remember. Your family or your close ones aren't trying to bring you down because they essentially don't believe in you. They just don't want to see the heartache and pain that it might take when you fail, or if you fail. You know,
I guess, you know, law of attraction and people like yourself and me, like we kind of draw ourselves to each other, right? You know, where we move to the beat of our own drum. You know, so for them, your dream might have been a little bit crazy. I remember my dad watching me train clients once, and he was like, "This is what my son does. He trains women. He helps them exercise." And then I know that, you know, with my family, they look at what I do and they're just like, "We don't really know what he's doing. All we know is he helps people."
Yeah, you know? I guess my family could probably say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and when people ask, what do I do? And I'm like, look, I just help people. Yeah.
But isn't it funny though, when you say you just help people, right?
Yeah.
When I was in uni, I always thought that made me plenty of money until I spoke to a mentor I still coach now, and I was training him in the gym at World Gym, and he said to me, he goes, "Mate, you know, how much do you earn now?" And I said, "Oh, I earn this much." And he goes, "Mate, it's going to take you 3 years as an engineer to earn that." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, it's worth it." He goes, "Is it?" Do you really love what you're doing? You know, because I love what I'm doing.
Yeah. And
I built a multi-million-dollar empire, which he has.
Yeah. Because
I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
He goes, "Mate, you'll always have a job here." Because he builds and constructs airports. And he said, "You always have a job here."
Yeah.
Because if you do what you love doing, he goes, "I guarantee you have a gym in 5 years."
Yeah.
And that was 4 years ago. And when I first started out, I was going good, you know. I was making good money and whatever it was. But going on to what I see with you and anyone that I see successful in their own field, when you fuck off the money part of it and you just solely think about providing a service, whether it be your business or your business trying to help people, as is mine, the money just starts to flow in.
That's right.
Almost uncontrollable.
Yep.
And people are paying whatever they can to do to see you for your time because they know you're genuine.
Yeah.
That was my biggest lesson learned. As soon as I stopped worrying about, I've got to do this many clients per week to make this, to do this, to do that. As soon as I'm like, no, I just want to be the best in what I do. I want people to look at me and say, you know what, he's genuine, he's honest, you know, and he cares for me a lot. That's when shit changed.
And energy doesn't lie. Yep. So now we're talking about an embodiment piece. Yep. So as great as you were working in someone else's gym, it was time for the next chapter for you. And you could have stayed where you were, but the next chapter, that page is already turned, and you would have been outliving, you know, your shelf life at that place. And eventually you probably would have went stale, because integrity wise, energetically, you would have known that it was time to leave, but you kept on staying there because it was too comfy. Yeah. So to leave takes courage. And because you actually followed your heart, you're actually able to build what you wanted to build. And your love, it's showing in everything that you do. Yeah. And people feel that, and people are drawn to that, and people can respect that, and people are attracted to that.
Of course they are. Yeah, and yeah, I completely agree there, because when you can become solely comfortable with being uncomfortable, those things where you make those big decisions that take a lot of balls, because you're so used to being uncomfortable all the time, you're comfortable with being uncomfortable. When you have a bad day and things like that, they just don't affect you like they used to.
And I guess that's what I help people do. Getting them to remember who they are, finding out what their values are, what matters most to them. And that has a tendency to overcome a lot of those mental, I guess, illness issues. Yeah. Because they're doing something that comes from the heart. They're remembering who they are. They're remembering what matters most to them. And we build their life around that. Because the thing about that is you don't have to duplicate that. You don't. There's no clock on and clock off, as you know, when you run a business as 24/7. But the thing about that is it's organic. You get to build a life around you. You're the brand. You're the star. And the truth is, your only one job was to live your life. You're put on this earth to live your damn life the best way that you can, and then it's done.
So then, I just want to touch on one thing before we finish up.
Yeah.
Because you just said something that kind of sparked me with the mental health side of things. Mental health, I feel, can be overly exaggerated in a lot of areas as well, and I think people play on it. What's your take, and have you dealt with people in that realm?
Look, that right now, mental health is is a real buzzword. Yeah, and when I was in the fitness industry, it kind of wasn't. Yeah, and over the last 5 years, it's really become that thing. I didn't step into this space. What ended up happening, the space sort of pulled me in, and it adopted me to an extent. My programs are actually coaching programs. What ended up happening was a lot of people struggling with mental health, illness more so, they were finding themselves in my space. And I guess what they were experiencing was word of mouth, that a lot of other people were having phenomenal results with the work that we did.
Yeah.
And they either had tried everything else, they didn't want to try anything else, they didn't want to sit in a chair and talk to anyone. So I guess if you think about like a walk, it's quite non-invasive.
Yeah.
Yeah, non-confrontational. We're going for a walk. It's actually an outdoor workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I guess, how were you at school? Well, actually, you went to university, but what were you like at school? Did you enjoy going to school?
I enjoyed school, but I was constantly trying to impress people.
Most people didn't enjoy school. So being in that environment where someone's sitting there analyzing you doesn't make them feel any better either. When you talk about mental health, what I think is there's a lot of money being thrown at mental health right now. And it has been for like a couple of years now. But mental health has never been at its worst.
Okay, so if you think mental health has never been its worst, how do you separate the people though that are playing on it? Like I find there's people, not that you deal with them directly, but your opinion on this. You know, there's people that say I need a mental day off work. Yeah. You know, if you're a boss, you're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? But you also have to take them seriously in a way, because you go, what if they are dealing with shit? Yeah. You know what I mean? But I do find there is people out there that play on the mental health card.
I think results-based is what we're looking for. Just like what you do with your own coaching. There has to be results there. If there isn't any results, if we're not moving the needle forward, well, how do we know the time that you're investing is actually helping you?
It does make sense, because that leads to my next question then, right? Me as a coach, you sit down with me, and the first time we catch up, I say, you got 4 weeks. Yep. If I don't see something after 4 weeks, I can understand that we're not off to a great start. Yep. We'll sit down and review again and see what's going on. Like we might catch up every week or every fortnight, but a review of the last month, you know, if we go ahead another month from there and nothing's happened again, I cut ties. Now I cut ties because I don't want to take your money, right? You're wasting my time. And you're wasting your time. You're wasting your funds that you're investing into me. So I don't know what you're coming to see me for, but I do have to have that awkward conversation and cut them. Now, people at the start get cut about it and they don't like me and they think I'm arrogant or whatever it is, but they respect me long-term because they know, you know what, like at least he's not about the money, you know, and I will even help someone push them in the right direction. Yeah. Is there a point in time where you have to cut people because you just feel like they could be pulling your leg, or they're just not ready for it? Or like, is there a time where you might suggest them elsewhere? Or?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Don't give up on your happiness. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, you think about when your daughter was born, right? When kids are born, when we're born, when we're children, we're happy. We're happy little humans. Then we grow up and then life happens. And things change. They affect us and impact us in a certain way. Maybe I might not be the right person for you. You know, maybe we, just like we were saying there before, we've shared a bit of time together. We've done some work together. Turns out that maybe someone else might be a better fit for you. But I guess in the difference between my work and your work is that what I'll be sharing, maybe what you might say to them is, don't give up your dream. If this really is what you want to do, I may not be the coach for you. For me, don't stop being committed to your happiness and your own personal growth, but I may not be the right fit for you.
And that comes down to connection as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Because even, from your side, which is heavily connected, and the spiritual side as well, me on the numbers side, you still have to have that connection and trust in the person to understand. So you have the best athlete, best coach, whatever it may be. You work with psychologists yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the reason why they come to you is not because you've done way more work than what you've done. Yeah. You're just you were just a PT. So really on the outside, people say, why are they getting advice from him?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's a connection. It's respect. It's also the accountability that you hold to them as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The connection's a massive part, massive piece. I guess the belief is, in my community is that if that connection's our first value.
Yep.
Yeah. Without connection, we're disconnected. Simple as that.
Thanks for coming on today, man.
Thanks for having us, brother.
I was really happy to get in and deep in there. It feels like I had a bit of a session there myself. I got a freebie out of you.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for having us on.
Look, man, I want everyone to get amongst men's medicine and your brand and what you're doing. So give every single plug you can, because I want everyone listening to this to get a hold of you.
Yeah, thanks, bro. You can find us on Instagram, men's_medicine, or myself at Coach Hola. Same thing on Facebook. We do walks, we do workshops, events for men, women, couples, workshops, community events. There's a whole list of things that we do. And if this sounds like something, that's pulling at you, if you know that you need to attend, then flick us a message.
Have you ever thought about getting into like corporate businesses and things like that?
A lot of people are pulling at me at the moment.
I just had a thought then, because I'm reading a book at the moment. Is it Ultimate Accountability? Ultimate Leadership by Jocko Willink? I can't remember the name of the book. That's what they do.
Yeah,
obviously,
that's Jocko, yeah.
So they use their experience from working in SEAL teams, and they go into team building within corporate, federations, but corporations. I think that's something that down the line, I just thought at the top of my head then that'd be awesome for you to get into as well. Yeah,
it's been really great that gyms have been reaching out to me to come do work in their space. And for me, the sooner the type of work that I do goes mainstream, I think just the better for everybody, to be honest, and the better the community is, the better we all are, I think.
Congrats on all your success, man. I really appreciate your time today. And you guys know where to find him. So until next time, we're out.
Thanks for having us, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Awesome.